Ah, I'm glad you got my little note. You must be Stephanie. Oh, apologies, where are my manners? Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Madam Blackwood. I've noticed that you've been looking through a large number of books. What exactly is it that you are looking for?
Just stories. Well, spooky stories to tell visitors when they come.
I have stories. Stories of cursed heads, of haunted paintings, and even one of a local robber. It's fascinating, actually, just how many stories are right here on our doorstep. Come this way. Here lies one of the richest men we have here at the museum. Once a future pharaoh of Egypt, and now a display for you mere mortals to gaze at during your weekends when the sun isn't shining. Here lies Amun, aged 14. His story is the story of jealousy and murder. One day, Amun was playing in his father's kingdom, shortly after being told that he was future pharaoh of Egypt. Well, you can imagine this did not fare well with the other boys, and they soon sought out a way to destroy the prince's future forever. Their plans became darker and darker, until the only way they could think to stop him would be to kill him. So, on this particular day, Amun was leaning over his father's balcony, surveying his future land, when one of the boys crept up behind him and struck him on the back of the head with a sharp stone cutting tool, splitting open his skull and killing him instantly. Well, when his father found out what had happened, the boys responsible were sent away to work on the Great Pyramids, and Amun's body was wrapped in bandages and placed in a decorative casket to give him the best chance in the afterlife. Ever since Amun came to this museum over 100 years ago, nothing has ever quite been the same. Some say that if somebody special touched the casket containing him, extraordinary things may happen. So, why don't we try it? Why don't you touch the casket? So far, nobody's been successful, but I feel there may be something particular about you. Shall we try? Sorry, Amun, better be moving on now. There is still so much to see. But first, pray look at this wooden head and remember it, as I have another story for later about it. But whatever you do, don't touch it. Much like the girl in our next story. Come, make haste. Now, look, but don't touch. Violet! Violet! Are you in there? I have a friend who would like to hear your story, if that's all right.
Well, I suppose, but only if he is friendly.
She is very friendly.
All right, but if she laughs, it'll be story time over. Understand?
Agreed? Yes.
Yes, it's true. I've caught the plague. It's not easy to avoid here on the streets of 1665. All you've got to do is walk about and you catch it. And it's not a pretty sight down in Bridge Street at the moment. There's bodies piled up everywhere, all at different stages of rotting. You see, the plague is carried around by rats, which are everywhere in this day and age. In most towns and cities, there are more rats than people, or so I heard. So the authorities, whoever they are, sent all of us with the plague to these little pop-up tents they call plague villages, where we pretty much just sit here on our own, waiting to die. I assume you've noticed this huge pus-filled ball on my arm. Well, that's one of the 3 types of plague I've got. There's pneumonic, septicemic and bubonic. Now, pneumonic's where the infection it gets inside your lungs and it makes you cough. I got a bit of that. And then the second type is the septicemic, which, as you can see from my bloody ear, I've got that one as well. And then the third type is the huge pus-filled buboes, which is part of the bubonic plague, which, if you hadn't already guessed, I've got that one as well. I don't like to brag, but I think I might be the most infected person around here. Imagine an award for the most infected person. Well, if you lot think Katie Price is a celebrity, I must be good for something. Because everything is so infected, everything must be washed and cleaned at all times. And this stone over here is used to wash coins in vinegar, you know, to stop the infection spreading on the money. It's horrible, infected people with dirty fingers touching all your food. It's just horrible. Anyway, you must be off. I've got the rest of my poor, pathetic life to get back to. I might even do a bit of cleaning. Come on, sweet, sweet.
Thank you, Violet. Now, I insist that you wash your hands. We don't want any of those vile germs getting anywhere they shouldn't, like your bed. Don't worry, it's only salt water. If it starts to sting, you can run to the lavatory. Oh, actually, the salt water reminds me of our next story. You will have noticed throughout Warrington Museum that there are a lot... Hold on a minute. Something's not quite right. Hello? Hello? Is anybody there? But you should know better than to be wandering across the museum at this time of night. Off to bed with you now. So, as I was saying, you will have noticed around Warrington Museum there are a lot of spooky looking paintings. But there is one in particular that is rather fishy. This painting here. Between the Tides, painted by Walter Langley in 1901. Looks to you like a normal painting? Would probably just walk straight past it on your usual tour of the museum. Agreed? Well, this is where you are wrong. This painting hides a dark secret. When Mr. Langley was painting this piece, he painted a figure just there. Here 1 minute, gone the next. Some say he just walked off the canvas. Others say that his face was so terrifying that Mr. Langley had no option but to cover him completely. All we know is that if you look at the painting from this angle, you can see the...
There's my picture now.
Oh, here we go.
Why are you showing this foul creature around my painting?
I just thought that you may like somebody to notice you for once, as that is what you're always complaining about.
It's hard, you know, stuck between the canvas and more paint, hiding behind their pretty little faces. Jack, my fishing partner, he managed to get into the painting. Why not me? Am I so ugly? It's like when you're walking through town and everyone blanks you. I get that all the time. Nobody ever notices me. I've been here 50 years and nobody ever notices me until the staff point me out to them.
Enough! Silence, fisherman, or whatever your name is. Get back into your painting. Madam Blackwood, you have offended me. Is my story not as important as the boy in the bandages? But forgive me. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the trickster, or as the petrified staff here would have me called, the cursed head. Tell me, do you drive at all, young lady? Pity. I should be scared of an old wooden head. Well, I was carved centuries ago by Buddhist monks, and with me they placed a scroll which gives me the power over the living and the dead. Let's just say, nobody's been brave enough to move me for a long time. But what of the dead? You can't kill the dead. But I'm a gatekeeper. If anybody wishes to pass to the other side, they must first make a deal with me. You know this, Madam Blackwood.
Indeed I do.
But I will deal with you later. In the meantime, while you're telling your tall tales, why don't you tell your new friend why you're still here in this dark, damp museum after all these years?
I was about to get to that part later. Come this way, please. Now, you must enter here alone. I have some things I need to attend to.
Welcome to the time tunnel. Creepy by day, even creepier at night, especially with all of these dolls. Now, some people have reported seeing the dolls' heads turn around and watch the museum staff whilst they lock up at night. Other people have heard laughing and playing from the library downstairs. Now, there's one doll in particular. Her name is Victoria, and she was the only thing found after a bomb hit a house not too far from here, and a family of 4 people were killed. Now, she belonged to a little girl called Lily, and they were best friends and did everything together. And as most little girls do, Lily believed that Victoria could talk. But in this case, she actually could talk, and not only that, she would walk around and set up little surprises for Lily to find. So once Lily passed away, Victoria started setting up little surprises for the museum staff and all the visitors to find. And every night, Lily wanders around this museum, looking for her doll, making sure nobody else is playing with it. And they meet here in this very time tunnel, and they dance as they shall dance forevermore.
My dolly? Don't you touch my dolly. If I see you playing with her, I'm watching you.
Madam, I'm waiting. My patience wears thin.
Don't mind him, he is just a silly old wooden head.
What are you saying? Be careful on the stairs. We wouldn't want anyone to fall.
Come this way. Let us not linger too long on this staircase.
Madam Blackwood, why the hurry? Have you told your young friend while you're here in this dark, damp museum? I've given you ample opportunity to tell your story. I guess it's down to me, as always. You see, many years ago, she was the mother of a small child who fell from this very balcony.
All right. I'll tell her. Many years ago, my son was attending the art school which was here in this very building. His father and I were in a meeting with his teachers in that very room there, and my son decided to come out and to play on the balcony. He thought it was a good idea to slide down the banister, in which he fell 20 feet, fracturing his skull on a gas stand that was there. At first we thought he'd just suffered a slight injury to his head, but we took him home, and later that evening he passed away in my arms.
Oh, such a sad story. You see, if you took correct care of this child, she would be at peace now. Very well, Madam Blackwood. You have kept your side of the bargain. And the deal is a deal. If you'd like to take your young friend downstairs, I will with you shortly.
Very well.
Ah, young lady, you appear to be on your own. Ah, Madam Blackwood, tardy as ever. Well, we're going to have to find some way to entertain you, aren't we? Perhaps you'd like to speak to a friend of mine. Edward Miles, come forward.
Yes, sir.
Perhaps you could entertain this young lady while she waits for Madam Blackwood.
And what is she doing here, sir?
I have no idea. She is of no interest to me. But we can't have her bored. Perhaps you could tell her your story.
Yes, sir. Of course. Well, I am Edward Miles, and I'm the highwayman around these parts. And I ride round, and I pillage, steal, and kill. Made quite a name for myself, known to the town, and I was getting away with what I was doing. Well, until I got caught by the police. So they hung me up, put me in an iron frame, dipped me in tar, and put me in front of the entire town. Everyone mocked me, laughed at me. Pathetic. If that wasn't funny enough, put me in this museum for all these other people to laugh at me.
Oh, Edward, such a sorry tale. You'll have me crying.
Stop! This is a good person looking for information about the museum. Have mercy on her.
Madam Blackwood, you misunderstand me. Your little pet is of no interest to me. You have always been of interest to me. And as we said before, a deal is a deal. And you have kept your side of the deal. Edward Miles?
Yes, sir.
Please bring Madam Blackwood forward. We must prepare ourselves for the freedom spell. Don't worry, your little friend can go as soon as yourself are free. I call upon the spirits here in the museum to come forward. We now need to aid our sister, Madam Blackwood, in her departure to the other side. Come forward, spirits. Embrace your sister. She has forgiven herself her sins in this life and is therefore ready to make a new life in the other world. Madam Blackwood, I would like to say it has been a pleasure, but it hasn't. Goodbye, Madam Blackwood. Goodbye.